Hello YouTube, back with the next My Little Pony video, and I don't really call it a review because this isn't really a review per se. I guess in some ways it is, maybe a little bit, it's like 50-50. A half review if you really want to call it that, but this is going to go into detail on how Friendship is Magic has gone for me thus far, my thoughts, then versus now, as well as putting G3 back into the mix again to kind of show how they handle things. This is mostly going to go, to start off here, I should probably note that Friendship is Magic has not been the show I thought it was initially. Thanks to a good friend of mine on Skype, he actually has shown me that this is not the show everyone else makes out to be. Oh my god, this is amazing, this is like the best show ever. It really isn't. In fact, there are so many flaws with the show, you wonder how it's even still on the air. Take, for example, remember the best night ever in Season 1? How they just threw the lesson out the window? They had a lesson right there. With the whole, oh no, sorry, that was, sorry, it's the Ticket Master. I don't know why I thought Best Night Ever, because I think it was related, that's why. Because the Best Night Ever was, the tickets were to go to the gala in that episode. But they had the lesson right there. It was building up, and then at the very end, they said, nope, we're done, lesson's out, goodbye. And this kind of brings up my other point. Remember when Twilight said, choosing not to choose isn't really a decision? Well, guess what, Twilight? You're a big hypocrite right there, because you basically decided not to choose to take anyone to the gala. Now, granted, yes, G1 did this as well with My Little Pony Tales, but they didn't ask for other tickets entirely. So they basically still went through the entire process of dealing with, do I take someone or not? And of course, Twilight's friends were complete idiots going, hey, you'll take me because I'm doing this and they're not doing that. I mean, come on. Seriously. You should be willing to accept the fact that someone else is going to go and you're not. The only one who didn't want to go was Spike. And even in the end, when he managed to get his ticket, he was like, alright. So he was obviously just kidding around. But all the main six are basically, in some way, some form or another, a complete idiot. We can go into Rarity, who's constantly sobbing over even the tiniest little thing, and gets so overly dramatic that you go, just shut up. You want to slap her in the face. Because she's being, I won't even get into detail in Season 7, because I know a lot of you guys haven't even seen it yet, despite the fact that the show's episodes have been leaked. They're probably on 8 now, I think. 8 or 9, somewhere in there. But she's annoying to watch, and Pinkie Pie is kind of the other kind of stupid. It's like, nothing she does makes any sense whatsoever. That's why she's so much related to Discord and all that, but I mean, come on. Just because you have a party, someone is throwing you a surprise party, and no one's telling you about it, does not mean they're plotting against you. Are you kidding me? That's what happened in Party 1. She went so far, taking what was a rather innocent, no, we're not telling you this is a party type of deal. She should have been more relaxed. No, she takes it so far that she goes absolutely insane just to deal with a party. That she later finally finds out, no, it was not the thing she thought it was. Big surprise! Not really. But I think it's Applejack, who's like, told ya! See, I knew this is exactly the way it was going to happen. The friendship lesson that I learned was what I knew all along. Really? That's not really a lesson. Sorry. There was no point in having that in there in the first place. The entire thing builds up to have it crash down again. It's like have someone, build up a house of cards and take the one card out that makes the whole thing stable and just drops the whole thing to the ground. Really? I mean, come on here. Even though this was like, and this is before the writers most of the writers that were actually on the show left the show. I mean, come on here. You'd think even Lawrence Faust at this point had left the show. Let's face it, I don't think she would want to see how it is now. It's been coming apart in the seams. Even the guys as Princess Luna and Celestia have been total idiots. I mean, to force Twilight to become a princess against her own accord is just beyond stupid. She didn't want to do it, and she's like, nope, screw you, you're going to become a princess whether you like it or not. Which gave her magical wings. She basically still couldn't fly for... Oh, and then, of course, we factor in the fact that, quick, T-Rex here, we gotta pull our magic together. Don't tell anyone. Well, That didn't matter whatsoever. T-Rex found out anyway and basically screwed them all over regardless. I mean, there was no point in that whatsoever. Then we go into Rainbow Dash, probably my most hated character in the main 6 line as a whole. Why? She's a jerk. She's been a jerk since day 1, and most of the characters don't even seem to care. I mean, literally from the second episode, she was proving that she was not the type of character you would ever want to be around. She's a total jerk. Even her Equestria Girls counterpart takes it even further than that by saying, hey, you requested me to do a song for you. Nope, you're going to do a song about me and only me. Because I said so. You don't get much more of a jerk than that. And of course, then you take into factor in, if you don't factor in the Equestria Girls version, because they are technically separate characters, but really they're exactly the same. The only difference is one's a human and one's a pony. There's really no other difference between the two beyond that. And you gotta factor in that during, I forget which one, Tanks for the Memories, I think it was, she destroys the weather factory for just the sake of having Tank not going to hibernation. Are you kidding me? How much more of a jerk can you get than that if you're just factoring in the pony side of things? And as far as we know, there is no repercussions for her whatsoever, because why not? And of course, this also goes into the lessons. There's another lesson, Mysterious Ne'er-Do-Well, as I seem to recall, that they show, hey, if someone's acting like a total jerk, you act like a total jerk to show them exactly how they're behaving. No, that's not how you do it at all. And of course, even through Season 7, we still don't have that one episode that shows how they got started. We have a little snippet of it in Sonic Rainboom, as I recall, where they're like, hey, I saw that. You see that? Yeah, I saw it. Yep, we all saw it. So we just magically became friends in short order, without really any logical explanation. And if you look at them, they don't have anything really in common at all. Twilight likes books. Rarity likes fashion. Rainbow Dash is all about, weather related and high speed, and Applejack's more about hard work. Pinkie Pie's about parties. There's nothing in common between them whatsoever. How the heck did this somehow become friends? If anything, G3.5, if you want to call it G3 in general, has taught us exactly how you become friends. In fact, it's the song That's What Makes a Friend in Twinkle Wish Adventure. She literally says, all of the stuff both of you like. Right there. That's one line that sums it up perfectly, exactly how you get into becoming a friendship. You don't just magically become friends. That's not how this works. If you don't have anything in common with someone, and no, I don't count things like, oh, he's got blonde hair and blue eyes just like me, I can become friends with him. No, you have to go through your likes and dislikes. Physical appearance has nothing to do with it. Because you can have all the things in common with your friend by having, oh, same hairstyle, same this. That's not being a friend. It's what you like and dislike. You don't have to necessarily like the same things, but if you like and dislike the same things, yes, you have a much stronger friendship. Because if you guys don't like anything each other like, if you guys have nothing you're interested in that's... Okay, let me rephrase that a little bit better. If person A has nothing that they like with person B, the friendship is over pretty much right out of the gates. You don't have any reason to be friends with them. You could try, but it's going to be like a very forced friendship. You're going to be like, oh, hey, I found this. And they're like, oh, whatever. And then they're going to do the same thing back to you. A friendship does not work that way. This is literally probably the most forced friendships I think I've ever heard in my life. Now, sure, a lot of shows do this. They just magically become friends. They don't share how it actually happened. G3.5 actually mentions how you become friends. And that's true to real life. And she even goes into, Pinkie Pie is the one that ends up singing that song that I mentioned. And she even goes into detail beyond that. It says music and games, riddles you tell. Things like that. That's where you find things in common. And even then, she says, in the beginning, that's what makes a friend. She didn't say, that's all there is to being a friend. She actually says, okay, you got that much? Good. You're off to a great start. But when friendship is magic, like, oh, yeah, we all saw the same rainbow and magically we became friends. That doesn't even make sense whatsoever. I mean, granted, you'd probably be more believable if Discord made that up. Because let's face it, that's not, they have nothing in common whatsoever. And that's like the exact opposite of being a friend. A true friendship does not involve, I mean, they don't even look alike. So not even that doesn't work. If you really wanted to go that far. And I don't recommend you do. But dear God, I mean, I can't believe I missed all that. All the failures that Friendship with Magic actually has. No wonder I've liked G3 a lot more. And it's not, of course, it does remind me of my childhood. But they're not stupid. Pinkie Pie is actually smart. When she had a party planned, she was curious as to what was going on. Because it was, oddly enough, a very similar situation to Friendship with Magic Pinkie Pie. But she didn't go absolutely, completely insane just over the fact. She was curious, going, okay, what's going on? And even when she found out, she's like, oh, well, my birthday's tomorrow. And then is willing to take a double party just for the sake of that. This just shows that G3 has a lot better characters than G4. Yeah, you're probably going to argue with me and go, what? Rainbow Dash says darling over and over again. Yes, that makes her more unique than any of the main 6 combined. Because it's not all about rainbows. She's not a jerk. Ever. I mean, granted, there's maybe some slight, where you could almost argue, okay, she's being a little more, she's closer to a jerk over here, but generally she isn't. She's all much more, G3 already knows how to behave. They don't need friendship lessons to teach that. If you start out well behaved from the get-go, you don't need to learn anything, any major lessons. I mean, you don't need to learn how to, yes, you don't need to go into detail on being fancy at a fancy restaurant. Oh, and that brings up another point. With Friendship with Magic, they treat Twilight differently just because it's a princess. If we learn anything from the Princess Promenade in G3, that it's just a name. You do not need to treat someone differently just because they're at a different status than you. Even for the President of the United States, it's pretty stupid the fact that you've got to actually salute them just because he's the President of the United States. Seriously? I mean, you could probably invite him over for dinner and not treat him any differently than anyone else. It's just a name, and that goes for anything that applies to you. Being racist is just a name. I mean, stuff like that. Being a cop. You don't have to treat someone differently just because they have a different status than you. Granted, if you get caught doing something, if you're a criminal, then yeah, you're going to treat cops differently just because, oh, well, they hate me, so I'm going to have to go after them with I'm going to point my gun at them and actually see if that makes a difference. And of course, you're a complete idiot for doing that in the first place. But come on, G3 has better morals than any of the episodes in Friendship with Magic combined, and all they were like short movies. They didn't need anything special to prove it, and they don't even need a villain to show that they can have a problem and get it solved properly. Try to think, is there anything else I want to go to? I did go into a lot of, I've already gone through a major tangent already. Let's see, is there anything else I want to discuss? I go through all the main 6. We already got Pinkie Pie being complete lunatic. We got Applejack. Yeah, I guess we can go into Applejack's failures. In fact, we did go through a little bit with I learned nothing at all, because that made an entirely pointless 20-minute episode. I mean, Applejack's proven she can be completely stubborn, refusing to accept anyone's help, and we know how well that works out, especially in Applebuck's season, where she tries to do everything herself. Since when does doing a big task on your own actually end up working out? It really doesn't. It'll be pure luck if you manage to succeed. Not even in G3, they always have their own parts to do. And this is sort of what Wisteria was trying to say in G3. I'm not fun at all. If I have everyone else do everything for me, that's not who I am. And I want to help out. And she does. In the end, she says, okay, we're all equal. I can call you a princess, but we're all princesses together. Or princess, if you really want to get into detail, go that far. But I really don't see, now that I've seen, thanks to my great friend for actually helping me find all this, I didn't realize it before, I was probably more too focused. looking back, there's only a small handful of episodes I've actually enjoyed watching, and it's mostly the ones with the villains in them. Again, I won't go into detail on what Season 7 is, but you may be disappointed. I know I was, watching one of the teasers for it, and to find out, oh, that's not the way I thought it would happen. So it's kind of unfortunate when teasers do that, and then you don't actually get that. You find out that's not the way you thought that was going to go. And of course, don't get me started on baby Flurry Heart. She's like every other baby. The only difference is she's flying around like a maniac, and no one's able to catch her. Say, here, go babysit her. Yeah, great. And taking on a task you know you full well you cannot handle. Pinkie Pie did it already in Baby Cakes. She babysat the two twins thinking, I can handle that, no problem. Only to find out, no, she can't. They are actually too much for her, and that's saying a lot considering the fact that she has a boatload of energy. She has probably way more energy than anyone you can ever think of. You wonder what she takes between shows. But seriously, the show is not getting the hype that it... G3 deserves more credit than... even G1 has handled things better than Friendship is Magic. Entirely. So this show is getting too much credit for crap that it does not deserve. Yeah, maybe supposedly well animated, okay, but it's done in Flash. I mean, that's about as cheap as it gets. At least G3 was actually hand drawn, as I recall. In fact, all previous iterations of the franchise as cartoons, except G2, which didn't have a cartoon, was actually, I believe, hand drawn. That shows a lot more effort right there. It means they actually did a lot better job of getting things done, and they didn't have to throw in a villain just to prove a point. Yes, they may not have been the greatest, biggest problems in the world, and you'd probably would argue, oh, well, they're going to be complete idiots if they ever have to deal with a villain. We don't know that. A villain was never put into play for G3. G1 proved he can handle it. Oh, and that reminds me of another thing in Friendship is Magic that was so stupid. The fact that they're so powerful, but yet when it comes to dealing with a bunch of bullying dragons that are just out there and say, oh, wow, you guys are ponies, you guys are morons, you guys are weak, you can't handle it. Well, guess what? The ponies run away. Well, you're just proving the fact that they're weak. You have all this boatload of this elements of harmony, and you're not even bothering to use it at a time when you should. Because the only way you deal with a villain, you deal with bullying, you have to stand up to them. That's the only way you deal with them. They will not go away if they are not challenged. Yes, you should probably be prepared to... You do not have to fight them directly, physically with, fists and stuff like that. You can actually use words that always... It's always better to stand up to someone, get them... Because getting rid of seriously. The fact that they ran away from one time they could have said, no, we are not taking this crap. We're going to blast you with our elements of harmony to show that you are not, this is not tolerated here. They said, oh, well, you're right, we ran away. And of course going with the ambitious plan of trying to use a costume, and they were just lucky that the dragons were stupid enough not to see that this was a fake costume. It was a complete hoax. And they fell for it. Seriously. Yeah, I've been going on for what? 18 minutes, 19 minutes now? That shows a lot of how bad Friendship is Magic actually is. More than I thought it would ever. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. But it definitely does not deserve a lot of the credit that it's getting. Especially nowadays, with the writers... The new writers are awful. Some of the episodes are completely predictable. You talk about the... back when they had those 3 stories, I think it was season 6. The 3 characters had the 3 stories, and they couldn't decide. They were trying to go, oh, well, Rainbow Dash did this, and Pinkie Pie did this. And it was like, I knew where that was going right when they got off the train. I knew exactly where that story was going to go. Oh, and don't get me started on Twilight trying to get Starlight Glimmer to participate in holiday tradition just because, oh, well, it's what we do. And you've got to take part in it anyway. No, it takes her to the end of the episode and go, oh, people can have different opinions. They don't have to participate in holiday traditions. Shocker. G3 already knew that, although generally a lot of people a lot of characters in G3 already do it anyway. But they're a lot more lenient. They're a lot smarter than anything in Friendship is Magic combined. I mean, most of the stuff in Friendship is Magic doesn't even make sense. It's just like thrown in there, almost like, hey, we need a plot line. Oh, and that reminds me of the other thing. When it comes to the storyline, they usually just change the character's personality just to create a story. That's bad. Nowhere in G3 has that ever occurred. They expand on the character. That's different. But changing who they are, and, you know, seriously. I mean, Diamond Tiara, at least when she was reformed, she actually did not just... She's become a better character. She actually had character development. That's the only praise I can really give Friendship is Magic these days. But yeah, definitely, I do not see the hype that the show has been getting anymore. I've watched all the episodes thus far of Season 7. Again, not spoiling anything. I mean, I could do that. But it's just not worth the hype. I'm continuing to watch to see if anything maybe changes that, but I don't think it will. I mean, even if I do, I'll probably find only 1 or 2 episodes that I like out of the entire season. That's been true since day 1. I mean, oh man, 20 minutes of ranting. So yeah, I guess that's my analysis on Friendship is Magic versus G3 and all the flaws they've gone behind it. Thanks.